Hey guys, welcome back. I don't know about you, but I'm not quite ready to go and shut myself in a cave for hours to sculkify it up. I mean, we will definitely get to that today, don't worry. But first, I think I want to do something outside where we can all enjoy the sunshine for a little bit first. After all, even Minecraft characters need vitamin D. Probably. Although, given how long I was in the void, that's probably not the case. But anyway, I still think some sunshine wouldn't do any harm. So how about we very quickly finish off yet another unfinished project. So I imagine most of you will not recognise this place. This is my flower forest project, and I'm pretty sure I finished this project in like my 3rd ever episode on my channel or something. It has been a very long time, but as you can see, I've designed it so that every flower has its own dedicated farm, and you know which farm is which thanks to these lovely pixel flowers I built directly above them. And I have to say, I still love this project so much. It's just so pretty, and the flower forest pattern is incredibly satisfying. But I'm getting off topic. The thing is, there is one flower farm that doesn't have a pixel art flower, only it isn't actually in this flower forest. Nope, it's here in the swamp. I can't remember if I ever even showed building this farm, but as I'm sure many of you know, the only way to get blue orchids is in swamps, so I built this farm over here and it just doesn't feel right to not have a pixel flower above this farm. So let's get that fixed. Perfect! Now I don't have to wander around the swamp looking for a hole in the ground to know where my farm is. I mean, I never did that. I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely didn't waste 10 minutes in the complete wrong section of my swamp before starting these clips. No siree! Anyway, the important thing is now we have a nice, easy to find indicator for our blue orchid farm, and I can finally take that off my list of things to do. I swear, it has been on there far too long. And speaking of things on my list for far too long, I think it's time. I promised we'd sculkify a cave today, and that is what we're going to do. I've collected a ton of sculk from the farm we built last episode, and I think we're ready to turn this bland cave into something a little bit spookier. Now that is so much better. I am so happy with how this came out. So originally, when I was thinking about doing this, one of the first things that occurred to me was I didn't really want to change the shape of the cave at all. I loved all the different levels and the pillars just look really cool, so I decided to go for less of a terraforming approach and more of a conversion process and just turn the existing ground into sculk. And then that really had my mind racing because why here? I mean, sure, there are deep dark pockets around the world, but why is there deep dark here? It felt like there should be a reason. And that's when I started designing this void worm, or whatever you want to call it. I loved the idea of this creature roaming around and slowly converting the world around it into sculk. And I don't know, I mean, obviously the catalyst acts as an in-game reason for sculk to be somewhere, but I just wanted to go for a slightly different approach, and I am super happy with it. So anyway, as you can see from up here, the overall design of the cave is pretty simple. It's just sculk on the floor with some scattered shriekers and sensors. Originally, I wasn't going to have any shriekers outside, I was just going to have them inside the worm like it's screaming at you, but in the end I decided to add some on the floor as well because I think that pop of white really helps break it up a bit. And as for the sensors, as you can see, occasionally bats will spawn and start setting off all of the sensors, and I just love watching the sound bounce around the cave. I mean, the sensors aren't all in range or anything, so it's not like it makes a perfect loop, but seeing all these little bits of movement and colour is just so lovely. I love standing here and just watching it all happen. It's just, I mean, occasionally bats have their uses, I guess, and this is definitely one of the uses for them. As for the walls, since the worm is like right here, I figured the sculk wouldn't have totally spread yet, so I made it so the sculk is just starting to creep up the walls and the pillars, with these occasional spots higher up on the walls, and I felt these were kind of like the worm had just spat a glob of sculk out and then it's starting to spread from there as well. And then of course we have the worm itself, and I have to say I am so happy with how this came out. Like I said before, things like this are pretty far outside of my comfort zone, but I do really like the shape I managed to get here, and the mouth looks pretty intimidating to me. I wouldn't want to get too close to that. And actually, in terms of the shape, you can probably see the shape a little bit better from down here. Yeah, so you can see how the worm just sort of winds its way up from the floor, and you can actually use the worm to get up and out of the cave if you don't have an elytra or rockets, because I designed it to be scalable, so you can just jump your way up the worm and then jump off the head to get back home, which I really like because it did feel a little strange that there was no easy way to get back up to the top if you fell down here. I suppose other small things I wanted to quickly mention are these two little baby worms I made. I'm not 100% sure on them, but I think I do like them. I just like the idea of these little baby worms following in their parents' tracks and just scurrying through the walls, and it's such a shame that dripstone can't be placed sideways because I think this one is slightly less effective, but it does kind of feel like it's got its mouth open and is trying to descend to like catch a bat or something, so I think it does work. And this one, it just feels very cute somehow. I don't know why it feels cute to me, but it does. And then we have the tail of the worm, which is just starting to head down, and while I don't think I'm as happy with the shape of this tail, I do really like it with its little stinger at the end to just warn anyone who thinks it might make a tasty snack. Although I do dread to think what sort of monster would be a predator for a beast like this, but I do think at some point I might make this part of the cave going down here and around this bit all sculkified, like the worm came through this way and it's all converted to sculk, but for now I'm not super worried about it because it's not something we can really see from our vantage point up in the ice cavern, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, but I might convert this at some point. And yeah, that is our newly sculkified cave. It's definitely a lot more interesting than what was here previously, which is really the main goal I have, so I am absolutely thrilled. And it's yet another thing off my seemingly endless to-do list, so that is also incredibly welcome. But with all that being said, I think I'm going to have to leave this episode here. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to get up to next time, but I have a feeling we may turn our attention to the water outside the front of my house, unless a different project comes to me in the meantime. So we might actually spend some proper time outside like I've been promising you guys, so that will be lovely. But until then, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!